Hey guys, Jess here. I have a quick process video here for you today. It was inspired by a sketch challenge over at the Hip Kit Club Facebook group. You should head on over and check that group page out. It's lots of fun, great inspiration, and they have the weekly challenges, which you could actually win a $10 credit towards Hip Kit Club. So even if you don't win, it's still a lot of fun, so you should give it a try. So anyways, to the process here, the process video. When I saw this sketch, I immediately thought of a picture of my son sleeping in his swing, and I wanted to have clouds involved. So off camera, I cut these clouds from my silhouette from the Cartabella Toy Box 6x6 paper pad. Mixture of blues, and there's, as you can see, there's some clouds of planes in there. Oh, there's a photo of my son. Isn't he adorable? And so I'm layering these clouds much like the sketch, and then I trimmed up the photo of my son, and it's too big, so I decided to go back and trim it down a little bit more. And for this layout, I was actually going for this distressed vintage worn look. And as you can see, the background I've chose is a washed out wood. It's from a Creative Memories paper pack called Timber. Really pretty, all different wood textures, and I thought this one would be perfect for this layout. So I've used that for my base, and now I'm layering the clouds on in a similar format to the sketch that you guys saw originally in the beginning of this video. Now, these clouds are really, really bright. They don't necessarily fit or look distressed at all. So as I'm layering them, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get them to be muted a little bit and a little worn. So what did I end up doing is grabbing some white gesso and painting over them. And for those of you who don't know, gesso is a media that you paint over your cardstock to prevent from paints and other mixed media soaking up into your cardstock and make it kind of all watered down and like peel apart. Kind of protects your paper a little bit, but it is also really great to tone down papers. So as you can see, that's what I've done here. I've gone back through and added a little bit more in some areas to give it a little bit more of a worn, distressed look, and I was really pleased with the end result. It really toned down those papers a lot, and I achieved the look that I was going for. So I'm just finishing up those clouds here, adding, that last little bit of touch. Again, I just think they look fantastic. So next is the photo. I'm decided to back it with some vellum that I had in my stash. It was a piece of vellum from the Crepe Paper Boy collection, or excuse me, Boys Rule collection. Apologies. Vellum is a really great way to add a different look and another texture to your layout. And this one was really pretty and fitting. It had the stars in like a navy blue, so it couldn't have worked out more perfect for this layout. And my original thought was to just back the photo in vellum and leave it on the layout. And as you'll quickly see, I've decided that it wasn't enough. The vellum, you couldn't really tell, it looked a little washed out. So I went back to the 6x6 paper pad and I grabbed a blue from the paper pad, and I end up backing the photo with the blue. And it just helped like solidify or like ground the photo a little bit more, and it tied in well with the clouds, and it helped actually the vellum show up better. So I'm really pleased, and I'm glad I had decided to do that. It looks really great. So I trim up that blue, and then I decide to get my distressing tool and rough up the edges. Again, the look I'm going for this layout, the clean cut edge just didn't work. So I take my distressing tool and go around each edge and kind of tear and rip up the edges, which I really love this look. As you guys have seen, I've done this my past couple of videos. It just adds another element of texture to your layout. And then for an additional visual interest and texture, I also grabbed a doily. I believe this doily is from Martha Stewart. I believe I picked up a few of them up at Michael's. And so I thought it tied in well with the curves of the clouds and the lacy look, tied in well with that vintage old look. So it seemed to fit well with the overall look I was going for in this layout. It was slightly too big, so I had cut it in half and layered it underneath the photo, just pushing it in slightly, so just a little bit of the doily had peeked out, and it ended up looking really great. I loved how it just added that little bit extra that I was looking for to the layout. So I get it tacked on here, and then check my placement again, and I decided to go grab some foam to lift the photo up a little bit. Adding foam backing to your photo just again adds some depth to your layout. And you can get this foam anywhere. This foam I picked up, I believe it was at Dollar General. They have like a 5-pack for like $1, and it's actually adhesive on one side, which is pretty fantastic. So I tack this on and finally get ready to lay my photo down for good, so I can do some embellishing. So I tuck it up in there in the clouds, and I'm really pleased with the way this layout is coming together. So as I look at it, I decide that the background needs a little bit more added to it. But before I do anything else, I grabbed some thickers because I needed a title. I think that titles are important, and so I decided to pick out this Dream Big from Thicker's Grayson collection. They're in a silver, they're a foam thicker, and the font was beautiful. The silver tone works out really well for this layout. And of course the phrase Dream Big, it's perfect for the photo, and I really loved how it came together in the layout, and how it worked out so well. I plopped it in under the photo, and it just worked perfectly. I love how when things happen like that, it's so nice how it seems to come together so easy. Alright, so now on to the background. I wanted to distress it a little bit, so I went to my mixed media collection and I pulled out some creamies, the Ride the Tide Blue. So my thought was to kind of splatter along the back of the background to add just a little bit element of distress. And so once I took out the Ride the Tide and I got it on my plastic, I realized it was just a little bit too much teal. The blues on my paper are a little more on like the royal blue side. So I went back to my media collection and I grabbed another Shimmer's paint. Excuse me, these are both by Shimmer's Paint, and it was an Inklings, and this one was a darker blue called Oaky Bear Blue. So I took the Oaky Bear and I mixed it in with the Ride the Tide. It helped darken it up a little bit and achieve a tone that I was looking for, and it matched better with the layout. So I mixed those together and I added some water to help thin it out, because if you just leave it as is, they're like a metallic-y creamy paint, and they don't splatter very well on their own, so I had to water it down. So I got my little spritzer, watered it down, and then proceeded to splatter all over my background. And I really love the splattered look. and it did wonders for kind of the background of this layout. It just added that another element, and it really did achieve the distress look that I was going for. So I splatter all around the page, and then I go back through. I have this little toilet paper roll in my cart, and if you go through and you roll over it, it soaks up all the extra droplets so they don't look too heavy, and it lightened them up a lot. And as you can see, the end result is pretty stunning. I'm really pleased with it. So next was embellishing, and this photo didn't really need a lot. I spent a lot of time, or this layout, excuse me, I spent a lot of time off camera trying to seek out embellishments, and it really didn't need much. So I found this little love tag that I tucked in there, and I go back to the Thickers collection, and they had some foam stars that I added in here. Now, part of the reason my video is a little short is that I lost some footage, so we're nearing the end, so you won't get to see the rest of my embellishments that I add, but I do have some final photos at the end that shows you everything. So I added some foam stars, I played around with the placement a little bit, and then I went back to my stash and I found some tiny word phrases that I ended up adding at the bottom. And that's pretty much it for this layout. It came together relatively quickly, very easily, and I'm so pleased. I love the end result, and I really appreciate having the sketch challenge to give me the idea. It was really inspirational. So here's the final layout coming up here, and you can see it just is stunning. So I hope this inspires you all, and you give some sketch challenges a try and step outside your comfort zone. And I'll talk to you guys later. Give this video a like and subscribe, and see you next time. Thanks. Bye.